How do the ears help to balance the body? The ear also acts as an organ of balance. It is responsible for monitoring the position and movements of the head. The delicate organs of balance lie in the inner ear in the form of a maze of tubes filled with fluid. The tubes directly involved in balance are called the utricle. The saccule and the semicircular canals. These contain a jelly-like substance which has small granules. When the body is upright, gravity causes these granules to press against the sensitive hair in the jelly. The hair then sends newer signals to the brain that say upright. When the head leans forwards, backwards, or sidewards, the granules push against the hairs in the jelly. This gives new message to the brain, which can then, if necessary, send out instructions to the muscles to adjust the position of the body. How do you speak? Speech is one of the most complex and delicate operations undertaken by our body and larynx in the body's voice box. It contains the vocal cords which vibrate to produce speech. The larynx is seated at the top of the windpipe near the center of the neck. The vocal cords consist of two delicate ligaments shaped like the lips, which open and close as air passes through them. When the air from the lungs is expelled over the cords, the carration of the cords produces sound. The loudness of the voice is controlled by the force with which the air is expelled and the pitch by the length of the cords. Men have long vocal cords to have heavier voice. Women generally have smaller larynx. Each sound in any language is determined by a slightly different movements of the lips, tongue, teeth, and of the mouth. Why do some people go bald? Adults have about 1,20,000 hairs on their head. Long hair grow on the scalp. Scalp hair grows an average of 1.25 centimeter a month. If all the hair of the scalp get removed, a person becomes bald. There are two reasons why people may go bald. The root of the hair is either permanently destroyed or they have been temporarily damaged. Permanent baldness occurs in more than 40% of men. In women, it affects the crown of the head only and never leads to complete loss of hair. In men, it affects the whole head. Basically, three main factors lead to permanent baldness in men, namely heredity, age, and hormone imbalance. There are also other factors like severe injuries to the hair germ centers by chemicals, disease, which produces severe scarring, etc. Temporary hair loss often occurs after a high fever, thyroid diseases, or tuberculosis. But hair grows again in most cases after the disease is cured. Drugs, X-rays, malnutrition, and some skin diseases can also cause temporary hair loss, but usually it grows again within a year. Baldness may occur at almost any time of life after childhood. What causes cold? Cold is caused by a microscopic organism called virus. There are large number of viruses that cause colds. Colds most often occur in early autumn, midwinter, or early spring. The mucous membranes lining the nose and the breathing passages become inflamed. The inflamed part starts producing mucus, resulting in a running nose. If the bronchi of the lungs become infected, the person gets cough colds, which are usually caught through being with people who already have them. The quickest way of catching a cold is through someone else's sneeze, shaking hands with infected persons, So, when you have a cold, it is better to stay away from other people. Getting wet does not directly give you a cold. In the meantime, the body's immune system deals with the virus. What is a stroke? A stroke is a form of injury to the brain. When a stroke occurs, the flow of blood to a part of the brain suddenly stops, thereby injuring all the structures connected with that part. There can be many reasons for the occurrence of stroke. A blood vessel may have ruptured, causing a hemorrhage. In another case, a clot may form within a blood vessel. There may be a spasm of an artery. A blood vessel may have got closed because of a small particle floating in the bloodstream. The causes of stroke are many, but the resultant effect is the same. It damages that part of the brain through which pass the nerves that control our voluntary motions, our sensations of pain, our temperature, touch and vision. These damages could be fatal and the person could become permanently disabled. What is anemia? Various nutrients in food have specific roles to play in the functioning, growth and repair of the body. If a person's regular diet lacks a nutrient, the normal functioning of the body will be tampered and this will show up as a disease. Iron deficiency causes deficient production of a respiratory pigment called hemoglobin in red blood cells. The number of red blood cells also decreases as a result. This disease is called anemia. You know that oxygen is carried to different tissues of the body by the hemoglobin present in the red blood cell. If there is deficient amount of hemoglobin in the body, it will receive lesser amount of oxygen. This means that an anemic person will get tired easily and lose weight. He or she will look pale and feel exhausted. Hemoglobin synthesis also requires vitamin B12. Anemia can be prevented by taking spinach, apple, banana, guava, eggs, etc., as these are rich in iron. What is blood pressure? Heart is the organ responsible for pumping blood. The heart pumps blood into the aorta. The pressure of flow of blood in the aorta and its main branches is defined as blood pressure. The heart has to develop a high pressure so that blood can be pumped through the fine contraction of systolic phase. It is equal to that exerted by a column of 120 mm of mercury. In the relaxation of diastolic phase, it is about 80 mm of mercury. It is typically 120 or 80 in the artery of a resting adult person. It varies from person to person and is affected by age, sex, heredity, physical and emotional state and other factors. Blood pressure is measured by an instrument called sphygmomanometer. What is cancer? What causes cancer? Cancer is a class of diseases characterized by out-of-control cell growth. There are over 100 different types of cancer and each is classified by the type of cell that is initially affected. Cancer harms the body when damaged cells divide uncontrollably to form lumps or masses of tissue called tumors. Tumors can grow and interfere with the digestive, nervous and circulatory system, and they can release hormones that alter body function. Tumors that stay in one spot and demonstrate limited growth are generally considered to be benign.